Okay, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hackathon, the world's largest hackathon live stream series. You may have seen Alex and myself on your screen yesterday. We're here today. We're going to be on your screen all month long with some hackathon live streams. Today with us is the team from 21st.dev. They're going to be going into some design and kind of their founding story, which I'm really excited about. If you're new here, welcome. The chat is on the right-hand side, at least for me. Feel free to throw in some questions. We'll be answering those throughout the live stream. Also, just wanted to flag that we can't post from StreamYard to X and LinkedIn, so we'll be replying to those separately, but the chat is popping off in YouTube. I'll add this link here. Also, we will be recording this and it will be added to our YouTube channel after this call as well. So awesome. All right, Alex, do you want to kick us off here?
Awesome. Thanks, Kate. Super excited for this one. If you have no idea what this stream is about, then I don't even know how you ended up here. But Bull is currently about to start the world's largest hackathon, the first hackathon in history that anyone can join, even if you don't know how to code. And today we have two of the sponsors of the hackathon with us, Seraphim and Sergey from 21st.dev. And why are they sponsoring the hackathon? Well, we don't want boring looking sites. We need sites that pop and are super interesting and exciting. But, as vibe coders, I'm not going to say that we're lazy, but we do like a good shortcut. And 21st.dev is one of the best shortcuts for creating really, really cool looking pages that get away from, sometimes you'll see kind of, you look at enough vibe coded sites and you start to see some things that all look the same. And so with 21st.dev, you can do some really, really cool, unique looking components and visuals and effects on your site. So we're huge fans of the site over here, and we're super excited to have Seraphim and Sergey here to walk us through what the site is today and teaser. Okay, there's a world premiere announcement occurring later on this live stream, so stay tuned for that. But with that, I'll kick it over to you, Sergey, to do your intro.
Yeah, I want to start. Yeah, my name is Seraphim. I'm co-founder of 21st.dev. Before startups, I actually was just a designer, a product manager, but always wanted to code and somehow help my team. But yeah, it was a really tough time when you cannot contribute to the project. You can just manage team or say something like, fix this, please. Just for last 1.5 years, I'm full-time vibe coding, just since ChatGPT 4 Turbo, before Cursor and Bolt released. Currently, since last November, we with Sergey building 21st.dev, and I will tell more about it later after Sergey's intro.
Yep, perfect. My name is Sergey. I have more of a classical software engineering background, more of 70 years of software engineering. Worked in the companies such as Deal. It used to be the fastest growing startup in the world, but now with AI era and with this new AI companies, it's not anymore. And last 2 years I've been heavily into machine learning and AI. Did a lot of indie projects there, and I was a founding engineer in a SaaS-based company that was making AI sales agents. And along the way, when the hardest part for me was writing front end, because it was the most painful stuff to do. And I think right now it's also my current problem that we're trying to solve with 21st.dev.
Very cool. Very cool. So, Seraphim, you kind of mentioned this a little in the intro, but you weren't always a founder and you weren't even a coder. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your background and how you kind of made the leap from that to founding this company?
Yeah, in a couple previous projects, I started like vibe coding by helping front-end engineers just moving divs and like paddings and etc. But I always wanted to do something more. And yeah, last like summer, I started vibe coding full time, creating some projects with like Telegram mini apps or some small apps in front end. And I noticed that in a couple projects, I used the same UI components, and I just had to find it in my previous project, just basically copy and paste a new project, and I found it like not normal. And also, I created a couple cool components that I thought that should be already developed by someone, and which might be useful for someone else, and I just wanted to share it somewhere. And that's why I built first version of 21st.dev just for 3 days with no knowledge of code at all. I just vibe coded it. And yeah, it was basically front-end React app with Supabase and simple authorization, where everyone can publish their UI components, and later everyone can just copy code and use it in your own projects. Yep, and I built the first version last October just for 3 weeks. Like for 3 days, I built initial version, just an MVP, and normal version for 3 weeks. And then, yeah, started publishing my components, exploring the Twitter for some cool components. And yeah, I can show you how 21st.dev looks like.
But before we dive in there, I got a few more questions for you.
Okay.
So one thing I think that's so interesting about what you're describing here with you started running into the situation where you're reusing UI components, and that actually is extremely similar to what we see on the enterprise side of the business for Bolt, where at large organizations, they have the same, realization where there's an ability to drive a lot of efficiency just by reusing, what they might call like design system or UI library components over and over in the app. And so I think it's so interesting that kind of what you've really created here is almost like an open source design system for the software composer community out here. And except this design system isn't just nav bars and buttons for consistency's sake, but actually really exciting, cool components and effects, for to add some pop and flair, which I think is really cool. So, I think a lot of the audience out here relates to that story of they identify a problem and they create a tool or a site to try to solve that problem that they experience. At what point did you think, oh, okay, maybe this is more than just a side project and like I need to, go full time on this?
I always try to keep it as a side project, and we launched on Product Hunt last December, and it basically in a couple of weeks became super viral on Twitter. We got around 2 million views from several posts, and you guys started reposting our tweets with some cool projects built together with like 21st.dev components. And at some moment, I realized that we already have more than like 100,000 users per month. And yeah, just at one moment, we realized that, okay, this is something big, and maybe we should focus full time on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, so now I know that congratulations is in order as you've raised some funding for this project. So curious to hear a bit about kind of the decision to bring on a more, Sergey as a more technical co-founder, is my understanding. Like, how did you get to that understanding? What was the point where you realized, having maybe some more support from that angle was going to be helpful?
Yeah, a couple times during this path, I faced problems with AI because I started building it before with the before smart AI models, and I always want, like, a couple times per week I was in this fixing bugs loops. Previously my friends just helped me with fixing these bugs, but later Sergey just texted me like, I have super relevant background, I'm super passionate about design and front end, and I can help you for free if you want. I thought, like, okay, let's go, let's build it together.
Yeah, it's an interesting section. I can share some more thoughts. So 21st.dev was an open source project without any fundings and just building it for fun. And I wanted to contribute because it was my favorite, like that was my pain. And it was super cool to contribute and seeing how this just open source project, just pet fun project, becomes a company, like creates more tools with Magic, with 21st.dev, with all of this ecosystem, how it grows, and it was super fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a very common way for people to get involved in projects. I mean, even me getting involved in Bolt, like I had some very good brainstorming sessions with the co-founders of Bolt for years before I ended up joining the team. And it's just like being able to, I think that's something that's so cool, especially about these vibe coded sort of projects that catch on in the community is, there's this opportunity to just be a community member, contribute value to the project, help people out. And you never know how that could turn into, maybe a hackathon team, or eventually like a legitimate company that's employing people full time. So super, super cool to kind of hear that story. And the reason why I wanted to spend the first, 10 minutes on that is just because I think this is a real, vibe coding project turned company story. And I think that we're going to see a ton more of those over the next year. But this whole kind of AI driven development thing is so new that I think a lot of people are out there looking for, these stories of success and people that they can look up to and learn from. And I just think it's so cool that it's, actually a tool that a lot of people in this space have already used, but they may not have known, that this started out just like any other project that, some of the Bolt Builder community might create. So appreciate you guys sharing some of that.
And I had a question, actually. I wanted to just like, so that you vibe coded, a portion of this for sure, but just curious, like when you were frustrated or like, like when there is a level of like grit and like, you have to like keep at it. What kind of motivated you to like keep pushing, keep going? I imagine some hackathon folks will be kind of experiencing that throughout the next month. So anything you can share?
I guess the main motivation that we built in that we really like, and we use it for our personal tasks, like in day-to-day development. And yeah, we just love it. And I guess the main motivation should be build what you really love and what you would build without money. You wouldn't need any motivation.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Awesome. Okay, let's get started on if we want to dig into showing us the magic here, so to speak.
I want to share 21st.dev. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so here's a platform where you can see a lot of components that our community published, and you can see here on the left side explore section where a lot of like sections or tags which would help you to find a component for your application. For example, you can check the hero sections, and here's a ton of great components for cool hero sections. And for example, if you want to use some of them, you can open it. You can see here the code. Here's a live demo, and also you can just copy prompt optimized for Bolt. Copy prompt and yeah, paste it in the Bolt chat, and Bolt would recreate this component in your own project. Yeah, you can also use the search here. It's semantic search, so you can write like pricing section with 3 tiers, and can even with the typo, I guess it would find something. I hope so. Or not. Yeah, here's like pricing sections for your project. You can find a ton of them. Yeah, and yeah, most of these components are really cool. You can explore it and use it in your project.
Do you have some favorite components that you've seen in the library recently?
Oh yeah, here's a couple components that's really popular. For example, I guess you saw like robot, here. This is the most popular component, and everyone reusing it.
Is that the lot that like it follows your mouse around the screen?
Yeah, that's wait the
It's so
loading.
popular that we started making internal jokes about this component. Like it became such a mainstream.
Your mascot. Your mascot.
Kind of. Yeah, so I personally I review all these components manually, and all of them are cool. So I love all of them. And also I created a ton of components by myself. You can see here components that I created or recreated some cool components from other websites. So yeah, just explore, find component that you like, and use it in your project.
So when you're going to add, like a component like this, is that something where you probably want to build out the basic structure of the website first and then layer a component like this on top mid-project?
Sir, can you repeat
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like order of operations here in terms of if you're working on a project, do you start with the component or do you scaffold out most of the project and then add the component in later?
Yeah, usually I just start it because it better you wipe code block by code, not like all the page, all the application in one prompt. Usually you should wipe code it with some kind of steps, and you start with hero section. You find the hero section you like, copy it, paste it, tell AI what you want to change, like tagline or text on the button. Then you go to the next section, like feature section, find a cool feature section, and this step by step, you can copy cool components from 21st.dev, or you can also create it from the scratch with AI. For some type of components or application UI components, it's not necessary to find it on 21st.dev. You can just find it from scratch. I built it from scratch. Yeah, it's mostly about something beautiful. The main case for 21st.dev at the moment, it's marketing pages, some maybe landing pages or use cases like best practices. I don't know, like blog post, something like this. Yep.
Makes sense. So, alert, surprise demo. I myself may also be a user of this 21st, this so-called 21st.dev website. One of my, is my screen coming through here? There we go. So one of the components that I think also is really popular that I saw was this one. It's probably overkill for a lot of websites, but especially for fun personal projects, this one just really caught my attention because it looks so good. And this is just not something you're going to see on most production like business websites. So, how did I utilize this component? I had my entire app already created. So it was like this date ideas app where, you just can swipe on different good or bad date ideas. These are all pretty good, but okay, this was an example. Maybe not the best date, working on the home heating and cooling system.
But useful.
Yeah, it's a useful date for sure. Crawling through dusty air ducts together. I mean, everybody, that's a very romantic date, I think. So, and I wanted to put this component in. Obviously, I succeeded. So, how did I do it? Well, it's really, really easy. You just come here, you copy the prompt. There you go. And then I came back over and I pasted it in and I hit enter. So there you go. It's really, really that easy. I'm not going to do it again because I don't want to break my beautiful app. If you do run into any issues, we're continuing to work on optimizing the way these copied prompts work in the platform. But if you do run into an issue, I highly recommend using discussion mode and just let it know, hey, I just copied this swirly component or whatever it is in from 21st.dev. And if I ran into an issue, please help me troubleshoot and fix it. The other thing that was really, really cool was, let's see if I can do this again. So let's see, I integrated a swirl component from 21st.dev. Do you understand the various configuration options? I want to make some tweaks. So if you want to actually customize the component, again, I recommend this discussion mode. And I don't know, this is, let's see, I don't have access. So let's see. It is already implemented in my code base. Let's see here. See if I can find it. Okay, there we go. Found it, splash cursor.tsx. So if you're more technical, you can actually go into here and see the code files. And so then here we go. Now, I'm not that technical, so I'm not gonna tell you if this is accurate. I don't know if Sergey and Serapim have any thoughts. Like, how are these descriptions like directionally correct for some of these parameters? I don't know if you've dug into the code of this component, but putting you on the spot here.
Looks like it's correct, but yeah. I'm also not a developer.
Yeah, so this gives you the opportunity to come in here and make these components your own. Because like we talked about the robot component, that one's probably too complex to do this kind of thing. But something like this, right? You have the opportunity to make some tweaks and try to make the component your own. So we'll change a couple of these and see if we can notice it. Maybe make the curl a 1, the splat radius smaller. We'll double the splat force and let's save that. reload our page. And yeah, I don't know. It looks a little different. Oh, when I click, that's the splat right there. So that's real tight. And then I'm guessing if we go make the splat radius like a 1, that we're going to get oh, yeah, now we're getting this huge splat when we click. So yeah, that's a great, I think there's a couple takeaways here. One, discussion mode can help you actually, if you're not that technical. I mean, I'm not technical. It doesn't take a genius to understand splat radius, right? So you can actually use discussion mode to explain stuff to you and then go in and customize things. You could also just like, tell discussion mode, okay, I want to make the effect, much more subtle and small. And I think it'll probably be able to suggest some changes for us here without us even needing to go in. So we can see it's going to decrease the splat radius, reduce the force, make it dissipate faster, et cetera, et cetera. So that all sounds reasonable, just reading through without even being that technical. We can then go ahead and implement that plan. And we'll see what the effects of that look like. So yeah, that's, and you can actually see in real time here. I mean, it's not doing anything that you can't understand. It's just editing these values right here. So now yeah, so there you go. I mean, that's a lot less dramatic, but yeah, there you go. I just wanted to do that because it's like, hey, I'm not a developer. Anybody can take these components, put them into an app, and you can actually like dig in, make it your own, and customize it. So, and learn a little bit about how the code works along the way. So, yeah. Let's see here. Okay, well, are we ready for this world premiere exclusive announcement?
Yeah. I think I'm ready. I don't know about the chat.
I mean, let's
chat,
see here.
let us know if you're ready.
And in the
Are you ready, chat?
While we find out if they're ready, I will say this is a good time to, if you have some questions after this world premiere demo that we're about to have here, we are going to be answering your questions. So you can ask questions about pretty much anything. If you've got questions for the 21st Dev team, questions about how to use the tool, etc., feel free to drop those in there. Also, if you've got broader questions about the hackathon, we will get to a few of those as well. So feel free to drop those in. But without further ado, it does appear that the chat is indeed ready. So I think I'll pass it over to the 21st Dev team to break the news here.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex. So a little story here. 2 months ago, we built a Magic MCP, which is an MCP that integrates into Cursor and other AI IDE editors and allows it to call to create variations of components based off the user's query and 21st.dev library. And it was super viral. It got featured into A16Z articles 2 times, tops of the other MCP lists. But since then, we've been worried that this functionality only is accessible to coders, to people who use Cursor or any other AI coding platforms. So we've been thinking of how we can bring this functionality to people who could use Bolt, for example, Bolt.new or any other chat application AI apps. And we've been actually working a lot on Magic 2.0, which brings ability to create, customize, remix components inspired by 21st.dev library with your edits and into the web browser, and allow directly to copy this prompt of the generated results into the Bolt.new for now. Yeah, so I want to show a quick demo because we're still have like working on this functionality, but it will be released when the hackathon will start. But that's a sneak peek on how it's gonna look like. Yeah, so that's the chat of where you could put any components that you want to build. With a text prompt, it generates a lot of variations. We're still working on how we can customize those variations and which components should we mix together and so on. But when the generation is finished, it basically brings you a lot of these previews generated based on your request. Which you can preview, see which of those components you really like the most, tested on a different screen sizes. Then from here, you just can copy the prompt and go straight directly into build that new and integrate this component, or you may stay for a little longer and watch other options. Yeah, some crazy ones.
I like that one. I like that design.
Yeah. And then you could do some manual edits with the chat. So for example, here I want to request renaming the plan. And basically it will do the stuff that you ask it to do. And after, when you finish with your components, you can just copy and paste it into Bald, and it's gonna implement it. So this way we allow more user-specific generations of not only choosing the components from 21st.dev, but remixing them and making them more accurate for your specific request. Yeah, so we already have the waitlist at 21st.dev/magic chat. And as I said, it's going to be released when the hackathon starts. Here you can, here's the QR code and some Twitter links for the announcements.
That's super cool. So when we first talked, I was super excited about this idea of being able to remix components together. The other thing that I think is so cool about this is, can you talk about where these components actually come from and why those folks are, how that process works?
Where these components came from. So yeah, we do have this 21st.dev library, which the sources of those components, the users who publish those components, usually developers, design engineers, and some other open source folks tend to publish those components onto 21st.dev. And yeah, we have a library here. Serafin mentioned it. And the magic allows you to kind of take the components that you like and combine them together from the specific parts and get them more accurate. Because those components are still, yeah, they have to be more kind of user specific. It's not always, you're like looking into components and like, oh, I need this to actually fit my goal. And I think this scenario we're trying to solve here.
Yeah, I also want to mention that these components inspired by 21st.dev library components published by real developers. And as we like pay for AI chat here, this is not a free tool, but as hackathon members, you can get a discount. It's included in Builder Pack, so you can use this tool with like 50% discount, as I remember, Sergey. Yes.
Yep, for a year, many plans.
Yeah, and also we share the revenue from each generation with the initial component developers, which were used for inspiration, and that's why that's how we like incentivize developers.
And I thought that was so cool because that's, I mean, when we first talked about this, I'm like, oh, interesting. So you're generating the components based on, combinations from existing components that people submitted to the library. And then when I heard that you had a revenue sharing system with the creators set up, where not only do they get a share of the revenue from if someone uses the component directly, but you're actually sharing it across all of the creators that made the sort of inspiration components, right, that feed into the component creation tool. I just thought that was so cool and really sophisticated for a company that's so early on in the journey. But I think that's one of the things that's really going to make 21st.dev have a super strong creator community going on into the future. So I was super impressed by that. And then I'm just sharing this comment here on the screen. If you were not registered for this event, you should go get registered, rvr.to/bolt, and you'll see it pinned to the top. Get registered there. We're going to send a follow-up email with the various links, including the link to the wait list. Sounds like some people are having some issues in the chat, so we'll get that taken care of and get you an email to sign up for that wait list. So go and sign up there so we can get that over to you. Let's see here. Do we get 21st.dev as part of the hackathon? Yes. Go get signed up at hackathon.dev, and we'll be sending out the hackathon build tool pack over the coming days. And yeah, we have a very generous offer from the 21st.dev team, so you can go and redeem that and get signed up for the new tool. Let's see. I think that's probably a wrap on the demo. So let's jump into some Q&A here, Kate, before we wrap this thing up.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a reminder. You can throw your questions in the chat here. We will get to them. Okay, how do you make sure the components blend well together?
Yeah, most of these components in the UI part, they based on the Shatsian style, so they kind of blend well. But with the marketing side, I guess it's on like developer side, vibe coder side. You should like find similar looking components and use them, or ask AI to make them better fit in each other. Because yeah, some of them might have different font size, fonts, and I guess you should care about it, because consistency make a lot of sense and matter.
iOS, yeah.
Currently we support only web or like React components with Tailwind, so we're not supporting mobile components. We're going to support React Native components soon, also for both the new functionality, but later. Yeah, currently we're focused only on web components.
Yeah, and that makes sense with Bolt, because we are not planning on adding React Native anytime soon. So the approach for creating mobile apps using Bolt is through using this framework called Expo. And if I continue down this path, I'm very quickly going to get out of my technical depth. But there is a question here from Todd around how to know if these components can work in Expo. I think likely this isn't a tag that's, I don't know that this is something that'd be super easy to tell without just experimenting. However, the good news is, if you run an experiment, it does not work. At the bottom right-hand corner of the chat bubble in Bolt, there's an undo button. So no need to be afraid. You can run the experiment and just hit that undo button if it does not work out.
Okay, looks like we have some questions about the hackathon. Are we allowed to code normally?
Yep, right inside Bolt. I coded normally a little bit right on this live stream. You just hit the code tab and you're free to type anything you want over there. So absolutely. Also, who said that's normal? Okay, that's weird for me. Typing into the code files, that's a weird way to code. Okay.
Is there going to be an overview of technical logistics and how to submit things? So you can go to the rules. Looks like the Tiger already shared that in our chat here. We'll be doing some announcements and videos, live streams on launch day this Friday. So stay tuned for that as well.
And that is the answer to that question of what is the start day? It's Friday. And then there's 30 days before, you have to submit, and there'll be plenty of content on that process before we get there.
Our tokens limited.
Our tokens limited. So we're announcing the build pack that we mentioned tomorrow. So there'll be 21st dev discounts in there. And there will also be a coupon code to get a pro plan of Bolt. So yes, tokens are not unlimited, but we will be providing pro plans to all the participants.
And will this be recorded? Yes, all of these live streams will be recorded, added to our YouTube after we are live. Looks like we have a question about like accessibility for some of these animations and stuff. I believe asking about like on the user end, can some of these be turned off?
That's an interesting one. I have to imagine that should be pretty. Oh yeah, actually, I actually added that because this was so extra in my project here. By the way, let's see here. Okay, so I want to demonstrate a couple things if I can real quick. So let me see here. Sorry for this boring thing here. So I'm going, oh yeah, so actually here's where I added it, I believe. Let's see. I said, oh yeah, effect. So how did I ask for this? I used discussion mode. Anyways, I just said add effect toggle, and it added it, and here it is. So now my effect is so lame because we told it to be more calm. But this toggle right here turns it off, and I just did that with Bolt. And you can just ask for that, and you can also, of course, tell it to be off by default and have the user click to turn it on. So yeah, you don't have to have crazy effects on by default if that's accessibility concern for your users.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions we had.
Any closing words from the 21st Dev folks before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I guess I wanna good luck to all the participants of this hackathon, and yeah, understand that AI not like super smart yet, and they will face some problems. And just understand it, be like not super angry to it, because yeah, I a couple times like already super angry with the AI, asking him fix this please again like 10 times. So yeah, but it's super fun. I guess it's this feels like surfing, because it's super like at the start it's hard, it's complicated, but then when you build something that works, it will be so like happy, and it's something like catching the wave, and you will feel your superpower that you build something from the scratch without knowing any code, and it's super cool, and you will always want to do it more and more. And yeah, I'm really like jealous about you for you, because on the start you will go for this start path right now, because yeah, I'm already currently after 1.5 year understand code a little bit, but yeah, it's super interesting path for you to start web coding, and I guess you would be super happy about it.
I love it. Yeah, it's like surfing. That's a good, really hard. Hurts when you fall, but it is pretty fun once you know how to do it. Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, stay tuned. This week we have a couple of exciting announcements end of this week. So follow us on X and YouTube and everything. We'll be adding links in the description of the YouTube channel, as well as the email follow-up on River. So stay tuned. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.